Welcome everyone to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast. I'm your host Chris L. Davis, and in this episode, we have a guest that is no stranger to the show, needs no introduction, but I will introduce her for those of you who are new and may not have listened to the previous episodes. Today, everyone, we have Samantha Pointer to talk to us about Keap, all the updates and everything that we need to know, just as we have Kay, who comes in and keeps us up to date with all things Active Campaign. So the official intro is Samantha Pointer is a certified automation service provider that's here at Automation Bridge, and the owner of Samantha Pointer Enterprises and the founder of Sam's Tech Academy. She helps small business owners and CEOs who need their marketing systems automated but don't want to touch their tech or do it themselves. From her audit to automation service connects strategic planning, process, documentation, technology, automation, implementation, and data to help organizations optimize and grow. And again, she's here to tell us and keep us up to date with all things Keap. Samantha, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you back. As always, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me on your podcast again.
Yes.
Excited to be
Everybody,
here.
yes, get used to the name and face. Samantha has been with me for so long. It's just your
Yeah.
face is like a logo in the members members area. So I was pleasantly surprised because I've been actively looking. And by the way, if you're a listener and you're um, if you specialize in a particular tool, Kartra, Entreport, um, MailChimp, any of the email marketing platforms, please let me know because I would rather have someone agnostic and objective to come and help us understand what the platform is doing, things that we can be looking forward to. And that's what Samantha's here today to do. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, wait a minute. She's like, oh, I'm at the Keap Partner Conference. And I was like, hey, hold on, you know stuff. Would you want to represent for the community the software Keap? And she accepted my invitation. So we're here today to keep to get everyone up to speed with the platform and what they're up to, things that are publicly shareable. And just to start from scratch, if you I'll start with a little bit of history, Samantha, then I'm going to hand it off.
Okay.
um, you've got to go back, everyone. Some of the new marketers, you're too wet behind the ears to understand this history. But there was a point in time where there were only two marketing automation solutions for small businesses, and it was Infusionsoft. The other one was Office Autopilot. Now you fast forward about 10 years plus, Office Autopilot is called Entreport, Infusionsoft is called Keap. Keap has been, of course, seeing a lot more competition these days than
hmm
previous, and has been faced with their own challenges over the years, just trying to stay relevant and stay on the tips of the tongue and on the top of the minds of the small business space. And they've been making some tweaks and adjustments to make things more competitive. So that's the background. Samantha, what was it about Keap for you that started to attract you and say, hey, wait a minute, I think I really need to start to dive deep and own this platform?
Uh, well, for me, of course, I've been through all of the email marketing platforms out there. Uh, and of course, Keep, when it was Infusionsoft, was like one of the major players, back in the day. So I had a love hate relationship with it. Uh, with some of my clients, just working in the back end of it was I hated it. I really hated it. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when I had someone reach out to me about looking into becoming a partner, that's when I went back in and saw that, oh, they've upgraded to Keep now, and it has a whole new interface that isn't
Yeah.
that clunky back end that we were
Mm-hmm.
used to. Uh, and just the flow of everything in the background to me made more sense. It aligned as I dove deeper into them
Yeah.
um, with becoming certified. Just it aligned more with what you teach us about the significant six, like it, the whole business automation, and not
Mm.
just certain parts. Those messagings aligned for me, and that's what made me want to dive deeper and to learn more and to see how this tool actually helps. Because of course we preach it's not about the tool, because it's not, but um,
Yes.
I like their alignment with the messaging of the whole life cycle, customer journey, where you need to be looking, and not just uh, focusing on one thing. So that's what drew me into it. And then as I dug deeper into the software itself and how you know easier it was to navigate,
Mm.
that's why I was like, well, let me jump in further and really bring this tool back out to the masses.
Yeah, and everybody, I'll add some color here because um back in the day they earned a name that I won't say. I'm not gonna say the name, but it started with a C and rhymed with Infusionsoft. And primarily it was because the software, and this is the beauty of software. You develop it for one audience and you never know, one, what that audience is going to do with it. Two, you never know
Right.
what other audiences are going to adopt it. So
Mhm.
Infusionsoft in its inception was never created specifically for internet marketers, coaches, and consultants, things of that nature. Definitely not SaaS or e-commerce. It was service based insurance. I think it was real estate and insurance, something like. But service
Mhm.
based businesses, email lists of under 10,000 contacts, pipeline management, all of that. That's what the initial vision was. We got to have Clayton Mask or Scott Martinall back on and give us the full
Yes.
detail. But since then, since again, it was the only alternative, it was the only options, so you've got everybody using it. So then they're like, hey, it needs to do this. Hey, it needs to do that. And before you know it, you have this Frankenstein software, which I don't know many platforms that haven't suffered,
Right.
from that. So then it becomes, okay, how do we realign ourselves? And I'm speaking on behalf of this company, but I'm just saying, how do we realign ourselves with the market? And what I'm hearing from you, Samantha, is that a lot of the back end, real hard technical stuff, because they had legacy Infusionsoft, then they had
Mhm.
new Infusionsoft, which had a whole new campaign builder. Now it's Keap.
Mhm.
So for those of us who have been with them for years, it's just kind of like, what's going on? But to hear you say that they've taken a more full business automation approach where they are
Yes.
focusing on the systems and the life cycles, and from what I've experienced and even talked to some of the players over there, is that it's almost like a choose your own adventure experience now, very human, where it's like, hey, what would you like to do today? And you answer
Right.
a
Right.
question and it's creating recipes and automations for you on the back end, and then
Mhm.
presenting you with a more simplified interface. Has that been your experience thus far as well?
Yeah, and also there. So before, where it's just software driven, services driven, they have realized the missing piece of strategy,
Mm,
where these companies were having a hard time with it because there was no strategy behind it. And we all know if you don't have a strategy with technology, you you just got a
yeah.
bunch of
Yep.
nothing. You're gonna hop from tool to tool to tool. So
Yes.
now they're marrying the software, the strategy, the services, so you can be successful with their software and to be successful in your business. So where partners like me come in is we can sit down with you and help you map all of that out and like shoot out pre-built solutions for you and your company using their tool, and not just under the mask of marketing automation or sales automation, but your services automation, your operations automation, because their Clate's new thing is small business automation. So that's where you're going to start seeing Keap really hit hard is small business automation, automating the whole entire business. Uh, onboarding, hiring, what can their tool do to
Nice.
help with that? And having solutions pre-built and pushed out to you to help with that. So uh, that that is kind of where they're heading and where they're hanging their shingle at, and not just being typecasted into marketing automation by itself. Because again, you have these 6, 7, 8 figure businesses. Yeah, you're making money, but the owner don't want to be in the background trying to figure out how this tool works, or
Yeah.
piecemealing all these different tools together, or
Yeah.
so that's where they're heading, and um, that's where we come in to help with that, help you with the strategy piece, so you can get these things pushed out quicker and implemented in your company with your team and everything.
Yeah. That's refreshing to hear that there's more of a strategy focus there, and
Hmm.
you know, you have to evolve, and that's for all of us, right?
Yes.
You're a certified partner of both Keap and here at Automation Bridge,
Hmm.
and being in tune with the market, you see these shifts, and one of the shifts that I've been noticing, and you just spoke on it, is this larger focus on ops, right?
Yes.
There that
Yes.
used to
And
not
we've
be a
talked
word.
about this. We've talked about
We've
this.
talked
Yeah.
about this. Yeah. If everybody's listening, like, hey, what do you mean you talked about this? In the members area. Okay. There
Yes.
is a
Come join
place
us.
where we talk daily, literally daily, and
Hmm.
discuss these things. Um, and ops used to be attached to things, marketing
Hmm.
ops, sales ops, all of the revenue ops. But now we're starting to see ops stand alone, and
Yes.
we're starting to see these pockets of people and professionals and software companies acknowledging that, hey, we really need to streamline and automate operations,
Hmm.
right? So to
Hmm.
I'm hearing good things. So everybody, I'm not playing dumb here. I literally made it my business not to dig deep on these platforms like I usually do, so I could be in the listener seat like you all and learn about what's happening. And what I'm hearing is that Keep has been listening and paying attention to some of these market shifts and is
Yes.
responding accordingly. And to
Hmm.
me, that makes sense, especially if you're going to go through the whole big rebranding,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Don't just
Hmm.
build a new website,
Right.
update the website and the logo, and then you log in and it's the same thing. And I think for a while people were feeling like that, and that's why it was
Hmm.
so hard to not call it Infusionsoft. But
Right.
now
Right.
when you log in, it is. Now, I haven't logged in a while. Tell us about that for those of us who are previous Infusionsoft users and
Hmm.
early Keep, where it was still kind of very similar on the back end.
Right.
Has the back end UI been updated and things of that nature?
Oh yeah. So, of course, the highest level of keep that they had, that most companies had, where everything was compartmentalized and it still said Infusionsoft,
Yeah.
that's becoming Keep Ultimate, and it's going to
Mm,
start looking like Keep Pro, and let's see, Keep Pro. They're trying to bring it all under one thing. Right now, there's like 3 levels. So when I came in, it's Keep Pro. I'm on the Keep Pro level, but I
mhm,
also have Keep Ultimate, which is what their old Infusionsoft is becoming, is Keep Ultimate. And they're, you know, for companies that have been on Keep 10 plus years,
mhm.
it's going to take a little adjustment. So they're like, you can turn it on and off right now to give you time to migrate some things over and get used to the new UI. But the UI is very much more streamlined.
Mhm.
You're not hunting for stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
which is
they
good.
have the buckets. Like, it's a really sexy background
Yeah.
because that matters when you're wanting to be in it. So that's really where they're trying to go, is so you don't have to have 3 or 4 different things that you're logging into. Like they're really bringing it cohesively and branding it as Keap, all the whole thing. So the background, the UI, you'll be pleasantly surprised when you're in there. So if you're on the old version of Infusionsoft that bigger companies had,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what it looks like. Um, you're still going to have the things you're used to, but it's going to look better and less confusing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
It's inside, right? Insider.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so from there, in my head, I'm envisioning an avatar or in a business type.
Hmm.
From the information that you have and that you've ingested and just your experience. Actually, the information is a small point. I
Right.
trust more so your experience with clients, the space of automation. Are you
Hmm.
seeing that this tool stands out more for a particular audience than another?
Yes. Yes. So it's going to be for those higher end businesses doing 6, 7, 8 figures who are doing
Interesting.
serious business, not just hobbyists or solopreneurs. That's not, and we've seen this with other software. Yeah, we're targeting small businesses, but it's a small business that's doing big business numbers,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's the only way it's going to make sense to you to pay for the tool, to pay for uh, the the coaching and consulting that comes along with it, the integration, the integrator, you know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and having someone really manage this for you, that's going to make more sense to you than if you're just a business that where you're still the one doing all the things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, so they're definitely targeting, I wouldn't say enterprise level, but
Mm-hmm.
again, that 6, 7, 8 figure uh, business mark who know, hey, I want to. I know the value of automating all areas of my business. I know this is going to help me grow and scale and give me more freedom as the business owner. So that's really what they're pushing, who they're targeting. And yeah, but not necessarily the solopreneur. Now, if you're a solopreneur, can you use this? Yeah. If you see the value in it, yeah, there's solutions for you there, but it'll probably make more sense to you the higher up you're getting with the email management, with um, the operations, hiring, all that. You're gonna, of course, if I'm doing hiring, if I'm hiring team members, onboarding, things of that nature, uh, it makes more sense for you.
Yeah. I hear as I'm piecing it together with a and it's uh, this group of people didn't exist at the mass that they do now, right?
Right,
You
right,
do have this sweet spot of maybe 5 to 10, no more than 5 to 10 people on your team, majority of them
right.
freelancers, maybe 1 or 2 full
Hmm.
time, if that, and pushing really big numbers,
Right,
but
right,
not necessarily enterprise. So
right.
what we've seen with like HubSpot, their competition. By the way, if you're listening and you're a HubSpot specialist, let me know. Would love to have you on and let us know about HubSpot. But what HubSpot did is they really broke off the marketing, broke off the sales, broke off the
Hmm.
customer service and all of that. And then it allowed you to get in at a much lower cost. Now,
Right.
the membership, you've heard us talk about my community membership often. Well, membership has its perks because we just, what was this, a couple weeks ago, I launched a email marketing pricing guide, visual
Hmm.
one, by the way, not one where you have to read. and it shows you the chart of how the price goes up with the amount of
Mhm.
contacts. And I'm
Mhm.
not going to give away any info because, members only, but you will be surprised that at 20 under 2,500 contacts, how competitive HubSpot is. And then you also
Mhm.
be shocked at how non-competitive it is per price
Right.
at a certain point. But I say that to say I've seen HubSpot adoption really grow. And I
Mhm.
think, Samantha, I think it's because of that vacancy of, hey, look, smaller team, but pushing big numbers.
Right.
You don't want to go up to Salesforce, right?
Mhm.
Maybe it definitely something like MailChimp is too rudimentary because you've got sales pipelines, you've got other needs, right? Beyond
Mhm.
email. So then it's like, well, what do I choose? And it
Right.
seems like Keap is saying, hey, money makers, six, seven,
Right.
8 figures, you already know the value of your processes. You
Mhm.
already understand your time is valuable. You know that it takes a team and you need a software that can come in and just help you scale from there. Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, there's also this partnering of strategy with like these calls and everything. So
Yes.
these are
Yes.
not going to be just platform focused. These are
Yeah.
like
It's not. It's
strategy
just not
calls.
tools. Yeah. You're gonna have. Uh, they're bundling it basically all together, not just the software. So you won't just get software and like, hey, figure it out on your own. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's going to be bundled with strategy, with an implementer, with you'll get partners like me who can who's going to be walking you through everything and really helping your company, implement this and launch it, basically. So you're just
Love
not
it.
out there with the tool by itself. Uh,
Yeah.
and and also, not everything, like, this won't be the only tool you have to use. We're going to help you integrate with other stuff you have, other technology tools you have, putting all that together, again, based around the strategy. So
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. And you know when we talk about pricing, for a while they were not priced competitively, of course, but like all companies, they are pushing a price increase, of course,
Mhm.
um, and there will be advantages of coming through a partner like me with your pricing, you know. uh,
Nice.
where you can get like a bundle situation. So,
Yeah.
um, but again, just seeing, Clay just wrote this book where he updated his book from years ago, laying out the whole small business automation and the strategy and how important that is. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but just harping on how important it is to clear out that chaos out of your business, because
Yeah.
you don't have no strategy. You got all these tools. You don't know what to do with the tools. You don't have time to figure out the tools. Um, and just, again, that's basically where they're trying to hang their hat and fill that gap and fill that space, because not a lot of people are there, not a lot of companies are there. They're just there with their tool.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. It you I see the collective strategy from afar, just hearing this, for the first time.
hmm
And the fact that the partners are incentivized or
hmm
enabled, I should say. They're
right.
equipped with everything to successfully bring somebody on strategically and then
hmm
match the software with it. Um,
hmm
being giving that different or special bundling to the partners is great because now we don't have cannibalizing efforts where it's like, hey,
right.
you can sign up directly for us or our partners, and people are like,
hmm
which one? Now it's more of a no
right.
brainer. And I have to say this, everyone. I we're all about responsible automation, of course, right? Automate
hmm
responsibly. Um, You this Samantha is telling us how much straightforward and easier the tool is to use. That does not alleviate the difficulty of knowing what to do. You still
Right.
have you
Because
still have to know what to
you're
do.
gonna get in there and be like, oh, there's so many things. What I
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you still have to know what to do. You still have to have the time to do it. And there's still going to
Hmm.
be a learning curve. And I'm saying this to say, leave it up to the specialists.
Yes.
Okay. If you all, I'm going to use any opportunity in every podcast moving forward to tell the people who shouldn't be touching the tech to stop touching the tech. If
Please,
you've
please.
got companies literally saying, hey, look, let me go train you on our software and put the partner tag on you so that you can go out on our behalf. And
Hmm.
now let me also defend the partners. Listen, if you're thinking that just because there's a badge of partnership or certified, that everything is going to be all good, don't lie to yourself. We're still
No.
humans, still trying to figure out the best solution for your business. And as long as you can clearly communicate what the thing is that you need, and you don't even have to know, you just have to be willing to answer the questions that someone like Samantha would ask you. And here's the big piece: everybody's like, yeah, I can answer questions. Then release.
Right.
You're
Right.
gonna have to release
Trust
a.
us.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be. Everybody, my programs and training. So when you have somebody like Samantha who's certified, I've been teaching this. But what I'm saying is,
Hmm.
I'm one person with one company. When you see the larger software companies starting to
Hmm.
acknowledge, wait a minute, they need more strategy. And as a company, we don't
Yeah.
want to take on that whole burden. Partners, let's enable,
Hmm.
let's equip them, let's get them ready. And then on our behalf, with our new software and our new vision, they can help piece it all together. So with that being said, I'm like projecting a whole lot on on the company, Samantha, that I'm looking for you to validate. Is that the more expected approach to keep? Is say, hey, get a partner, which they've always been partner friendly and partner heavy. So
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
was
Hmm.
certified, I really enjoyed that process. But more so now, not just for the software though, for the
Right. For
strategy holistic to
the
your business to hit as many goals as
Yes.
possible with automation.
Yes. Because they see themselves, the company itself, as just generalists, but
Mm,
they want to bring on the partners as the specialists. Like, you need the specialists too to
got it.
be very successful with
Got
our
it.
tool. Um, it I wrote down, like, it's the whole thing where we talk about hiring technology, hiring technology. Keep is just a tool, but you have me, a partner. We bring the strategy piece, we bring the
Yeah.
implementation piece, and then that means you, as the business owner, the CEO, can provide the service, can be the visionary. That's all you, which is what you
Yes.
love to do anyway, which is what you're expert in. You're not the expert in the tool, you're not the expert in the strategy.
Yep.
So that it lets everyone play nicely together and work together to bring out your business's ultimate goal. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it. Um, and if more software companies would embrace strategy, you know, we wouldn't have so much confusion and tool hopping as we do now,
Yeah.
because people usually get a technology tool and throw a couple of hours trying to figure it out, get frustrated and say, oh, it didn't work. Well, no, it didn't work because you didn't have the strategy behind it of why you needed it in the first place. Or even if you needed that, you just went off of a recommendation for somebody in a Facebook group, or a
Yeah.
random person who that's not their thing. So I think more software companies should adopt that attitude of how important strategy is, to make these tools successful.
Yeah. Yeah. No strategy, no software. And let me ask you this, because how you're describing the approach, and then you said the words, they're also working at integrating with other tools. Are
Mhm.
they now? Everybody, again, I don't want to assume intelligence here, but we've come a long way. Zapier, believe it or not, newer users of Zapier, it's a third party integration software that allows you to pass data between softwares that don't already connect and integrate. But there was a
Mhm.
time where Zapier used to be one zap, one action.
Mhm.
I'm dating myself, right? It's like, whoa, how is that even possible? Who would use it? But it was really next level to be able to tie tools together, that because otherwise you're just waiting for the tool. Like one day
Right.
they'll integrate with my favorite software. So the first version of Infusionsoft was not built with that in mind. Like,
Right.
like it was more of an afterthought.
Mhm.
The integration side of it was more of
Yes.
an afterthought. But now it seems like this is not just an afterthought.
It's
This
not.
is a core focus. They're looking and
Mhm.
saying, wait a minute, we want to build this thing and make sure that other people can play nicely with it.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that what you're seeing as well? That we'll see a more
Yes.
open platform and not just all in one. We do everything. We
Mhm.
can do as much as you would like us to do, because I know they still have payment processing,
Yep.
sales, marketing, and all of
Yep.
that.
They have keep pay everything. Yep.
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
yeah. They are actually have a tighter integration with Zapier now. Like they've really built out more stuff with Zapier. Of course, there's Make and everything that you can do things with also.
Yep.
But they, instead of it being an afterthought, they have really started to focus more on those things because they know, hey, yeah, we have a built-in calendar you can use, but you might like Calendly, you might like this, you might like
Yeah.
that. So
Mm,
here's the API or whatever to play nicely and still see it within Keap. Um,
yeah.
Two-way text messaging just got rolled out. Uh, Before
Nice.
it wasn't. Um, they have an email health widget now, so you can, with this new deliverability change and the Google and all that, they're putting it where you can see it inside Keap, and you don't have to try to figure out how to stay on top of your email opens and things of that nature.
Yep.
The campaign builder, we all know and have a love hate relationship, is now the automation builder, and I'm actually
Mm,
beta testing, you know, upgrades to that experience too.
nice.
They have an AI content, to
Yep.
help.
Gotta have that.
We're seeing more people integrating AI to help you write these emails, to help you write these
Yep.
landing pages, to help you write. So these are things that they've been rolling out slowly, that you're going to see more of. And of course, with more things you can do, again, you're going to need help strategy. Like, how can I use this best in my business? Um, how can I integrate this with, if I'm someone who uses proprietary software, how can I integrate this with the Keep and have a cohesive experience? So, um, those are all at the forefront with them now, instead of, again, an afterthought and thinking I'm the end all be all too.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to play nice with other tools because
Yeah.
different
And
companies are using different things.
and that's the thing, Samantha. If you think about it, I've traditionally had a bad experience with all-in-one software when it comes to needs outside of all of them that they provide, right?
Right,
But the
right.
solution in the past, the solution has been more so, well, just use another platform, and that's where Active Campaign came and really took off, because they're like,
Hmm.
we play with anything.
Right.
But if we keep our mind open and don't prescribe that that's the way to go, and we say, hey, wait a minute, all in one isn't all in one in itself is not what made it bad. What made it
Hmm.
bad or unpleasant was the fact that I couldn't easily tie into the all in one.
Right,
So all
right.
in one has a place, but
Hmm.
in today's technological landscape, you've got to be able to allow people to easily, Samantha, easily
Hmm.
integrate and get the data out. All in ones, the cardinal sin that they would create would be housing, just strong arming your data. They just had it.
Right,
It was
right.
all in the system. And they're like, as long as you keep it here, we'll do right by you. And this is the best place it could ever be. And now we're seeing,
Mhm.
no, let me pull that data and send it somewhere else and let me
Right.
do other things with it. So I am not against all in one. I think that all in one has needed integration. So it's good to hear
Mhm.
that. But I'm also sensitive that most people are extremely overwhelmed with technology, even if they're technologically inclined, right?
Right. There's so
It's
much.
Samantha, you're a witness. It's taken me all of the last year to wrap my head around AI and automation.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
what does one do? How do they connect? What systems do you build? I'm just
Right.
now getting to that point where it's like, oh, I get it now, right? And
Mhm.
I'm tech
Mhm.
savvy, so imagine other people who aren't as. So I like software being more simple, but never at the expense of my data and ease of access to it and use of it.
Mhm.
As long as
Right.
you can check those three boxes, simple, access data, and use data, make that easy, you got me. You got me. The rest is just a matter of, hey, what stage of my business am I, and does this tool fit with it? Um,
Exactly.
Anything else,
Exactly.
Samantha? Any other updates, features, anything that got you excited that you haven't shared yet that you like all the listeners to know?
Um, no, that's as much as I can share right now. Because they did have us sign an NDA. But if you're interested in becoming a partner, get at me because I think one thing that they're going to be pushing out soon to help partners,
Mhm.
uh, you're going to want to be you're going to want to be on that train, on that
Yeah.
boat, as they say,
Yep.
because it's left the harbor. So, but yeah, I really like where they're going with things. The messaging again just aligns with, as a certified automation service provider, it aligns with the significant six. It aligns with what we've been preaching about hiring technology,
Hmm.
and not just focusing on one area of your business, but the importance of whole business automation and making your life easier as a
Yep.
business owner. So
Great. Great. Well, listen, I'm excited to see. We'll have to have you back on when the
yes.
things that you can't talk about you can talk about,
Yes,
and get some
which will
insight
be
there
in about another month or so.
in
You're
about
gonna,
okay. All
yeah,
right. Well,
yeah.
great. So you've got everybody up to speed, maybe even excited now. Like maybe this is what
Yeah,
I've been missing. How can people get in touch with you? Where can they connect with you?
they can go to my website, organizingguru.com. If you scroll down, you'll see a form that says if you're a Keap user, Infusionsoft, want to learn more, fill out that form, and I will be in touch with you, and we can talk about how this solution can help your business.
Great, great. Everybody, don't worry if you fingers couldn't type fast enough, organizingguru.com. The link is in the show notes right now. You can click it, go directly to the website and take the steps that Samantha outlined. Samantha, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast again and
Yes,
enlightening us. I look forward in about a quarter. How about that? I'll give it a quarter.
yes, yes. And I can show you some stuff.
Yes, yes.
Have a little show
So
and tell.
those of you who are in the community, don't worry. We have Samantha at our disposal. If you ever want to see anything, screenshots, or if you want to do a
Hmm.
walkthrough, I know she's willing to do that. Those of you
Yes.
not in the community, don't have a membership. What you waiting on? Come on, join us. We
Come
got
on.
listen. We got some stuff. You know, I, I will. Let me admit, I don't do my own self justice, right? I mean, we've got some really critical conversations, right?
Yes.
We're assessing all types of software and finding all different types of use cases. I mean, I think last month you found a new webinar software that
Yeah.
integrates
Yeah.
with WordPress.
That
Like,
I'm gonna launch too.
oh my goodness, these Samantha, these findings and just the strategy and just the in the know,
Hmm.
it helps me. Like the email app that I've created that does pricing helps me. Sometimes I'm like, why would I recommend Get Response over AWeber? And I look at the
Mhm.
pricing chart and say, oh wow, this is when I would stop recommending. This is when I would
Mhm.
start, and things like that. They're extremely hard to just put out in the public and let people abuse and use at their own peril. But when it's in a combined container with everyone with an aligned focus, it just things happen so much. So, anyways, enough about that. But thank you again, Samantha, for jumping on. I feel very much well informed with the upcoming changes and even how to be
Mhm.
thinking about Keap.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
You've helped me.
yes.
It would be ridiculous if Mailchimp and Keap were in the same sentence. Now,
No.
understanding how they built that
Not at
platform.
all.
You get what I'm saying? So now if somebody's like, hey, we're using Keap and we're thinking about going to MailChimp, they either don't
No.
understand the platform
Mhm.
itself, or maybe their needs were a lot more simplified and somebody just sold
Right.
them too much, right? But
Right.
now after
Right.
this podcast, I at least have that understanding. Our listeners do as well. So
Yep.
appreciate that. Listeners, thank you, like always, as always, for tuning in and listening to another episode. Can't thank you all enough. And until next time, I see you all online. Automate responsibly, my friends.